Okay, I sent it to you, Jess.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. So I'll call to order the Durham Select Board meeting here on March 26th. We have a quorum. We all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'll note that Joe Roy is excused this evening. We have any amendments to the agenda?
On the
Jerry?
new business, let's discuss paving bid.
What's that?
On the new business, we'll just discuss paving bids.
Okay, yep, new business. We're gonna add paving bids. We'll put that down below the town meeting format. Or actually, why don't we do it, you said new business, why don't we put it beforehand? We have Calvin here.
Yep.
We'll do it number one, and then we'll discuss solid waste and then go from there.
I don't know if the actual signing, our first thing on our agenda is to review the town meeting warrant and sign, but Jessica had to go run to get it, so I don't know if you wanna.
Yeah, I think what we can do is go through it, and then we can sign it at the end with the rest of the warrant articles. I think that'd probably be appropriate at this point. So, getting on to, let's see, and we have no public comment. So, old business, town meeting warrant minute, the warrant itself. Jerry, thank you for making those changes. I saw that you and Josh went back and forth on that, so that was great. I did not see anything else in here that caught my attention after reading them another time. I don't know if anybody else has any comments, concerns.
No, Jerry and I spoke, I think the day after our last meeting, to discuss some changes that he wanted, and I think it made sense. So I think it's good.
No, that was a good catch.
And so I know we don't have it, Jessica's printing it off, but I would move that we sign the warrant, approve and sign it.
Okay.
Second.
Do I have a second? I have a second from Heather. Any further discussion? No? Okay. All those in favor? All right. Motion carries 4-0. All right, we'll get that signed here. Again, great job, Jerry, and everybody who's been involved in putting these together, because that came out really well. I think we're in good shape there.
I'm looking, you don't have a PowerPoint, do you, either?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's here. I might have it twice, actually, which scares me. So next order of business, review the PowerPoint. So since last time, we've added a few things into here. I did have the opportunity to go and I did attend a couple of the meetings last week. I attended the Historic District Commission meeting. That went very well. I was glad I went. I did include a slide in here about the Union Church. And then based on the input from Josh and Rich last time, we added in the land use ordinance amendment. So met with George and taking all the material that I learned during the public session, public hearing on that, and along with George's input that he provided us, I added in another slide here with Jerry's help on slide 14, basically outlining the 3 articles and what folks were going to see. And again, Heather, for your edification, what this is going to do is, and we'll get to when we get to the next section about the town meeting format, but the idea was to just brief everybody on what they're going to see in the warrant, not necessarily take any Q&A during that session. Let the warrant articles deal with any questions during the sessions, if anybody has.
You mean the PowerPoint when
Yeah,
it's
the
presented at
PowerPoint,
the?
so
okay.
I would just do this at the beginning.
Yeah.
And just give everybody a download of where we were thinking, what, at a high level.
Right.
And then what they were gonna see in the warrant articles. So we tried to hit all the warrant articles in this. I noticed I'll just have to, like, let me see, on slide 3, I have the list, I'll just make sure I remember the 3 items for the ARPA funds. And those are articles, I think, 20, 21, and 22, if I remember correctly. So I'll just call those out. We still can change this a little bit. I mean, this is, and then we'll post this for folks after the meeting. So I don't know if anybody got to review this again. I'll be happy to go through it if you'd like. Yeah,
I did look through it, when it came from Jerry, and I think that it looks good, and I don't know if in the past there's been question and answers during the presentation, but I think it makes sense to go through the presentation and then do questions in the format that you're saying.
yeah, that way it keeps it to the body of the meeting, and it focuses on the warrant articles. And I don't think anything in here is outside of the bounds of the current warrant articles either, so. It's really, like I say, just give them it's a courtesy really to give them a quick overview of what they're looking at. I did hear some feedback this week from one of our residents that they thought it was unfortunate that us and the budget committee were all in agreement across the board because they liked the debate.
Yeah.
Thought that was kind of
So
interesting.
my only question would be, and I'm open to what people think about it. My personal opinion is that I would like to see this up ahead of time for people to be able to see. And if not the whole thing, at the very least, the information on, because I actually went on the website and I looked, and I thought that we had agreed as a board that we were gonna put, the information regarding, especially the, level funding, so people
Yep.
had the opportunity to like really access that information ahead of the meeting. And maybe that we were waiting until we signed the warrant or
Yeah, I think we
whatever,
were just
but-
waiting until the end here to make
Okay.
sure everybody was okay with this before we posted it out there. But it was gonna be posted, I think, didn't we say, Jerry, we're gonna print out about 100 copies of these, or we're gonna just give it up to the, we talked about both directions on,
100 copies
of the presentation.
I wasn't,
No, then we were just gonna post it and not hand it out then.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm asking if ahead of town meeting, especially the stuff around the level funding for the budget, for the, capital improvement if that is gonna be on the website and available for residents to access
Yes.
ahead of the meeting.
I think.
Yep.
Just as long as I'm clear on what you actually want
It-
posted, that's where
Would
I
just
think it's.
the-
Just this,
Oh, it's
yeah.
not this? See, that's what I need direction on.
So
Yeah,
when
what-
we hadn't had this when we had the conversation the last time, so I thought that it was this.
Right.
And I feel like I'm open to what people's opinions are. I don't want people to walk into town meeting and be blindsided by this. I want them to be able to access this ahead of time, whether it's this or this, and I'm open to
Yeah,
people's opinions.
The only thing I thought that we could put out there was the actual schedule of equipment was the only thing that I had thought.
Just put all
Or
of it.
put it
Yeah,
all
be
out
done.
there. It doesn't, yeah, we can put it all out there as long as it's,
It's
yeah.
public information, just throw it all
Yeah.
out there and be done with it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
The,
tell me what you like.
I think it should all, the only question I have is, and for the funding, I think it's important to put in, and I thought I saw it in, maybe I saw it somewhere else, was, the amount of interest we're paying, for all the borrowing we've done.
Yeah,
Because-
we did talk about that, didn't we? We could
did.
put that on the outstanding debt slide.
Yeah, to me.
Slide
to-
6.
To me, that's the biggest reason to go.
Yes,
go
it
this
is.
way, is because, I mean, just looking at it, we're paying.
Yeah, I was gonna state that, I agree, but we didn't have the number. I
Yeah,
don't know,
I think, to me, you could say, you have the schedule of payments, you can calculate, you can figure out what the total payment is and how much interest we're paying, and the point of this is to avoid that in the future. So,
Yeah.
So that number is on the budget. So you don't have your
Yes.
budget with you now, but it is on like page
I
4.
knew it was somewhere,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
So I
on
think-
But I
there.
think,
Well, I
I
could
think
probably-
adding it to this
I
would
can
be,
point to it and.
Yeah, and it's
we
in
can
the
add it
annual
to this.
report as well, so right under debt service, it will show you what the principal is and
Yeah.
what the
That's
interest is.
true.
I knew I saw it somewhere.
So what I would, and again, open to other people's opinions, but when you go to the website and it's set, we have the things down the left-hand side, right? If there's a tab that says information for town meeting, like you can go to the website and
Okay.
it, I'm just gonna do it really quick. Town of Durham, Maine. This here, right? And we have the tabs down the side, Union
Yep.
Church Report, fee schedule, land use ordinance. If we had a tab here addressing budget information for town meeting, or just town meeting information in
Yep.
general, and then had this information there for people to be able to access right from the front page.
Okay, so all 3 of the capital charts, and do you want the PowerPoint on there as well?
Sure.
Okay,
I put the actual budget on.
and,
there.
yeah, budget's gonna
Yeah.
go. The select board's budget.
Yeah,
Anything, just make a folder pertaining to the town meeting and stick it in there, and that way,
yeah.
anything that the planning board has, or you deal with it.
Right,
Anything that
even-
we're, anything that the town's gonna quote-unquote deliberate on Saturday, just put it in there.
Yeah, anything that the planning board presented
Right.
for land use ordinance,
Yeah, that shouldn't be that bad to do.
Do you wanna put the annual report in there too?
I think
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think it makes
And
sense.
that has, that has almost
Yeah.
all of it.
Covers you, pretty
Yeah.
clear.
Just trying to think of, for the Union Church, but the report's already out there.
It
for
is, that
Union
has its
Church.
own tab right here.
Yeah, so
We can do that.
Okay.
that might just
That's
need
tomorrow.
a link, you know, on the,
More information, the better.
yeah, more information the better. Yeah. Can't over-communicate enough. So, okay. All right. I
Thank
will
you.
I'll add a one-liner on here, so we don't have to, I don't have
yeah.
to sit here and refer
I
back.
knew it was somewhere, and
Yeah,
for some reason, I came in tonight thinking it was here, and just to me, that's the selling point,
yeah,
right? I mean, if
it is.
what we've heard from other people is a concern of you're taking all of the power, you select board, but we're taking it because, I don't see it that way, but the response is, but look at what we're saving.
Right.
Well, you can still save it, and still keep the people with the power. Just
Well,
to be the devil's advocate.
Well, it's not the same way.
In a sense, you could still do it the same way. But we can agree to disagree on that one.
Provides for flexibility.
You can still do it.
So it's,
Keep the same system, we're just gonna flat fund it to be the townspeople vote versus the select board's discretion.
yeah.
I gotta stay away from the word flat or level.
I would stay
because-
away from the word.
Yeah. Progressively fund. At a very slow rate. Okay. Any other concerns?
That was my concern.
What's that?
That was my concern.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, yeah, you're welcome. And I'll add that one liner in there, Josh, just so it's
Thank
clear. We can pull that number out. Okay, nothing else with the little PowerPoint. All right, so new business, Calvin, you, is it yourself or Jerry are both gonna paving bids that have come in and?
So you have this sheet, yes, Excel spreadsheet?
Yes.
Attached to the public works report.
You got it. You do have it.
Yep.
All right, Calvin, take it away.
You see, we had 5 bids.
Yep.
Of the 3 companies that actually make the pavement would be the bottom 3. Crooker was the low bid in that, and given the long-term relationship that we've had with Crooker, the total difference between them and the lower 2 companies is only $2,800, less than 1%. It would make sense to stay with Crooker. And they also are the highest bidder on the shouldering, so that actually is something we could do if the amounts go over, that we would be able to do that ourselves if we needed to make everything work in the budget.
And this is for the Auburn Palmer Road, Calvin.
Yep.
Can you explain what you mean when you say shouldering?
The reclaimed asphalt that we put down on the sides of the pavement after it's laid, so that there's not that lip or drop off.
Why do you think that they're higher than everybody else?
Oh, I don't know, on that particular item, they just, whatever their cost is to put it down, must be to them cost more, but
Are you able to take pieces and parts from the bids, or you
Yeah.
have to do the whole?
no, we are able to do less or more as the budget.
I think my question is more between the companies, where you, like, would you be able to use, say, I'll say Coastal for your shoulders, and
No.
does that get any?
It's all.
It's one whole package,
Yep,
deal,
yep.
okay. Didn't know if you could mix and match the menu here.
I personally like in the past using the one, simply because there's no way for the other guy to blame the other guy. If one
Yeah,
guy's
that's
doing
true.
the entire job, it's,
Right.
the onus of the job is on that one company versus, well, so-and-so did that when they put the shoulder in, and they didn't level the shoulders appropriately. It just makes it much more easier to determine if there's a problem
Yeah.
versus multiple people involved.
And even with that amount being higher, what you're pointing out is that the total bid of the job is only $2,800 more.
Right.
Right.
Okay,
Correct,
okay,
yeah.
I understand, thank you.
So they were lower on the asphalt.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're making it, and, you know, the shouldering I can do myself. If I get into a bind and the quantities end up being higher, I could take that part myself and do that.
Okay.
I can't do paving, but I could do the shoulders.
So, as far as the material cost in here, the material cost goes up, this is a fixed price contract?
Well, there's a liquid asphalt escalator in there, so if liquid asphalt goes up, then it would go up, but it could also go down. It's tied to liquid asphalt.
And
Because I
that's-
know in the past, we've done less miles
Yeah.
because of that.
Yep. Oh, yeah, it went through the roof, yeah,
Yeah.
so.
And how many miles does this cover?
2.47,
Okay. And that's also on a schedule?
yeah.
Okay. Heather?
I don't have my budget right in front of me. Does this number hit where the budget is that
Yeah.
we put in?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it that you need from us tonight?
Just need authorization to sign the contract on April 10th.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to, unless anybody has more questions, is it appropriate to
Go
make a
ahead, go.
motion now? I'd like to make a motion to have Calvin enter into a bid with Crooker for $387,137.50.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Josh seconds. Any further discussion? Okay, all right, so all in favor? All right, motion carries.
You go first, man.
Move forward, Calvin, thank you.
Thank you.
Good work.
That's a 3-year contract, Calvin? 3-year?
No,
That's
this
a
is 1 year. No, we went
This
with
1 year.
1 year this time, okay. Thank you. Okay. I forgot to thank Calvin for the great job on the roads. Team did a great job the other day. That was not easy for anybody. Yeah. Okay,
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Before you proceed, did we, were we content with, I thought we were content with the warrant as written?
yes,
Are we going to sign that?
we are. It was getting
Okay.
It's
printed out.
That I gave you written.
this folder?
We can proceed and sign now. Get that.
Just because I gotta get going, I just
Yeah.
wanna make sure.
That's fine.
Since we
Nope.
got a few of you here. Thanks.
We're gonna have to pass the pen around. I didn't bring mine either.
I have one here. You want me to
Thanks.
use it?
There's a bunch of them that couple there too.
Is there a couple in there?
That's where I usually put it. Man, this paper must be fresh, Jess, because it's not coming back. Oh, wait, you got more than one?
Do we need to sign more than one? 3?
Are these separate two?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they're here.
Does it matter if mine's in black and theirs are blue? Should we use the same pen?
I always used to bring red pens to everything. Everybody used to hate it.
I signed a check once in purple ink and the bank returned it. They wouldn't cash it. Okay, this is 2.
Third's right here.
Yes,
Can I ask one more question? while we're-
absolutely.
I see this letter from, to Mr. Douglas on the 19th for abatements. Are we going into assessor tonight? I didn't see it on.
I think it's executive session.
Executive
It's
session,
discussed.
Yes,
And
Look at my face.
yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
The reason for the abatement.
Yeah.
It's executive session.
Should we do that before you leave?
We can.
Well, the only reason why I was bringing that up is because if it was it would have to be unanimous amongst you three. With the 4, you could go 3-1 if somebody did have a problem without.
I think it's probably gonna be pretty
It'd be a quick
straightforward.
one, it looks like. I just wanted to, in case you guys needed a 4th.
I, yeah.
Okay. I was there. Did we want to go in ahead of time? What's everybody's feeling?
If you wanted to do it tonight, if not, I mean, if you can wait till the next time and have maybe a full.
that's up to you folks.
Yeah.
I don't know what the sense of urgency was, because I didn't see it on the warrant, that's why I was asking, I just saw the paper.
Yeah, that's my goof, I should have.
What's that?
emailed it to you. I didn't email it as part of the package.
Right, but if we didn't get it done tonight, we could
We
wait
can
till.
wait, it can wait, right?
Okay, yep, all right. Okay. We'll keep moving here?
Thank
All
you.
right, yep, thank you. All right, Solid Waste Committee Chair. Curtis, you wanna, come on, you wanna join us up here, you wanna sit back there?
Doesn't matter.
All right, I saw the,
Bylaws.
Yes, I did.
yeah, we'll talk to you.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, I didn't expect the privacy. Let's try it.
Yes, no problem.
Yeah, go for it,
Have fun.
enjoy.
Hi, I don't think we've met. I'm Heather.
Curtis.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming.
How you doing? Good. I like the bylaws. Those came out really good. So,
Oh, I think Jerry wants to talk.
Do you want me to start, Joe? Just
go right ahead, Jerry. Yep.
Okay, so, you know, that solid waste committee was, formed, several months ago, and there was a, sort of a draft bylaws thing, but no real purpose for what the committee was charged to do. So last week, I just threw this together with help with Heather's notes that she sent an email a while back. So it's really just to sort of review this, add to it, take away from it, whatever you'd like the committee to do. And Curtis is here to kind of hear that, contribute to that conversation and give his input. So we can get this going shortly, right after town meeting, start having more meetings, so.
And I thought Heather put together a good memo. I didn't print it out before I got here, but laying out a number of categories to go and focus on in regards to the solid waste efforts, trying to organize both cost against the different buckets, lack of a better word, of what to do with our solid waste moving forward and what avenues to take that would make be the right decision for the town. So I don't know if we need to maybe formalize that into I'll say more of an Excel format, a more organized format to have the committee move forward with. Some of those goals is really, I think, and quite frankly, one of us maybe, helping that out, is helping you guys out as well, or sitting on the committee might actually help as well. I don't know, Heather, you were definitely cheering that along early on, and then we've gotten into other things as the year's gone on here, so
Yeah.
we need to probably start focusing in on that a little bit more.
I think Jerry did a good job at the top of the bylaws in Article 2 where it says
Yeah.
purpose, memorializing the bullet points that I had sent, which are basically what I feel like kind of encompass every possible avenue that we could go
Yep.
with the direction of solid waste. And I think what, my personal opinion is what the board needs, is data and information regarding all of these different avenues to be able to make informed decisions about what the best long-term plan is. We had the Union Church Committee, we formed that, and that was really what they did. They looked at all the different options, whether we were gonna move it, whether we were gonna transfer the property, whether we were going to, I don't think tearing it down was ever an option really, but, that was on the table too, because we asked them to look at everything, and then they did all of that research, they made a report, and came back to us with that information to be able to make informed decisions. And so that's where I have no problem being a liaison to be able to share information seamlessly between the select board and the committee. If
Okay.
that's something that you're interested in, is having one of us there, I'm happy to volunteer to be that person. But if you feel like you would rather do your work as your committee and then report to us yourself, and we may even ask you to come and do that also, whether I'm there or not, it's totally, you're the chair, so that's at your discretion.
Okay. So I understand we're coming up on our contract.
In July, right? Our
Right.
current contract expires at the end of June.
Right. So
And I hear they want to enter us into a 5-year contract?
eventually, yes.
No,
Is it,
It is gonna be
It
a
is a
5-year,
5-year
so we have some
contract.
time, but, we wanna get ahead of this, so, if we have a bunch of,
You don't have much time, it comes up in June, don't it?
well, but that's.
Well, I think we've already signed the
We've
contract.
already signed
We haven't
that.
really signed it because it hasn't passed the budget yet.
Right, but-
Once town meeting's over, and if they pass that article, we're good to go.
Right.
So when I originally brought this up, I was thinking it's gonna be, that would have been getting this going and getting the first time that I brought it up. And there's been so much that's been on the board's plate that the can kinda got kicked down the road. And so what my goal was figure this out before we enter into that 5-year contract. But at this point, I think everybody on the board
Yeah,
agrees
you're a
that
little
there's
behind.
no way
Right.
that can happen
That's-
between now.
Okay.
And so I believe the consensus of the board is we are going to enter into that 5-year contract as long as it passes the budget.
Right.
And then at the end of this contract, we would wanna know what our long-term plan is.
Right, 'cause
So
I
are we
think
sticking to what we're presently doing now as far as roadside pickup?
we are,
Yes.
yes.
So we're not spending extra money on,
Well, there's some changes. I mean, they're gonna
We're going
give us the
automation.
there are some changes. But, it was the only bid we got back, and it was a take it or leave it, there's no negotiation.
Right.
And so that was, I think, something that Jerry had heard was coming and brought to us, and that's why we raised this. And I think your question a long time ago was, what are our goals, what are we doing? And, my response to that would have been, make a recommendation to us on what we should do with our trash. Just because it's getting expensive, is this the best way to do it, is there a better option? And I mean, I think the purpose is here. I would have added one more, it said, or something else, you know what I mean? You know what, I
Not a
think,
whole lot of options out there.
Right.
For the whole
Right.
state.
right.
But there are other options, and my question is, can we get information as to, I mean, it's pretty hard to compare stuff if we don't have something to go by. Like our new contract, what's it costing us? What are we getting anything benefit from that? How much are we expending over and above what we already were expending on
I mean, I think we
trash?
have that information as far as
Yeah.
tonnage goes and what the costs are of that, but I mean, is there a better way to build the mousetrap, right? Splitting up
Yeah.
the trash, food waste, what, are there other things we could do from a long-term perspective? Is it, from a long-term perspective, more cost-effective to put a transfer station in? That would take years to do, but we now are gonna enter into a 5-year contract. We have some time, other than we'll be paying, more probably every year per ton of what we're currently.
Yes, it's not gonna go down.
It's not going down, no, and the, people are coming and the tonnage is going up, so that both together create certainly a increased cost year after year, so. Heather?
I think one of the things that, while we are entering into this contract for 5 years, there are things that if the committee recommended it and we all felt like it was a good idea, there are other things that we could do even though we're entering into that 5-year contract. Joe talked a little bit about food waste. I've kind of kicked the idea around that we have space at the Public Works building, that if we had a compost situation where they were making the compost at Public Works, and then we could sell that and generate revenue that way, and those types of things. So even if we are doing this part where we are having roadside pickup, there are things that we could still do in the meantime that's not gonna impact our contract other than to get tonnage out of it, which would end up
Right,
saving us money.
Right, the goal is to get tonnage out. The tonnages are pretty high for the town of Durham, I think, compared to other towns with more people. And it's because everything goes into the trash.
Right.
Part of my reason why I initiated this conversation to begin with is because when I was researching grant opportunities, there's a grant that is available to the school districts for an education program.
Yes.
And only, it's through EcoMaine, and Durham isn't part of EcoMaine, but Freeport and Pownell are. And the RSU can't apply for those grant dollars because they have to do it across the board equitably. And because Durham's not part of that, they can't access those grant dollars for Freeport and Pownell, even though they're part of it, because this town of the RSU is not. And so that was when my wheels started turning, like, we've gotta get something going here.
There's other grants out there to apply for.
So I would envision you doing a short term, during the life of this 5-year contract, what can we do to save money? And then long term, after the contract expires, what are our best options?
I think money, but also taking into consideration the environment, both of those things.
Okay.
How many committee members do you have now?
5?
Five? You got-
Five, and
got-
is
So you
there
got
an
a full
alternate or
committee then,
two?
that's good.
Have to look.
5.
That's great. I'm sure we could use more, but yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of research, but I believe that the town can be doing other things to get some of the waste out of the trash. And that'll significantly drop your tonnage, which, of course, it's not gonna drop transportation or anything else, but it'll drop
Right.
what you're paying per ton for trash.
Yeah, I think bringing those ideas forward and, I don't know, how long would it take to put something together?
I mean, it
Like,
depends
from
on
a
what you
short-
want to do with food waste. I mean, you have options, you have agri-cycle, you have a bunch of different, but they all come at a cost. You can do your own composting, which means you have to set up a composting area and get a DEP license, which isn't really that bad. And then the other thing is getting rid of the compost when you're done. having a way to get rid of it.
Right,
But that would be easy.
right.
But it could come at a cost. I know AgriCycle, we use them, and the cost isn't that bad, considering that we went from the first year, 45 ton to 96 ton the second year of food waste out of the trash.
Wow, that's
That's-
amazing.
That's great.
And we hope within a year to 2 years further, it'll be 200 ton of food waste out of the trash.
And is that through like public education? Is there some
Yes.
sort of incentive? Like how do you go from people just throwing things away to,
It's all-
we don't have to
It's
talk
all
about this
public
tonight.
education.
Yeah, okay.
You have to communicate with the public and explain to them what it's doing. And if it's gonna lower their cost of getting rid of their trash, and you can show them how, they're more apt to do it. But you have to show them how it's gonna save them some money.
Right.
Sounds like you already know what we want from you.
Yeah,
Otherwise, and that's, the committee, that would be a committee thing,
Yeah.
yep,
It's all about public education and advertising to the public as to why the town's doing it. And how it's gonna save them money. When you can show them how they're saving money, people are more apt to do stuff.
right. So from a standpoint of the committee putting together a package, what kind of time frame you, for the first, say, cut it, some short-term goals and some ideas that we could start going after? 'Cause you may come up with some ideas that we have to have other folks go and research further.
I can send an email to the rest of the committee, cause I know they're just chafing at the bit to get going.
Get going.
That's great.
And we can get something started, at least get, some of these things, the short-term goals looked at, and maybe get the wheels turning there.
One other thing is that Jerry put together these bylaws, and these are just there's a suggestion. You and your committee can go through these and make edits as that works for you guys. I just want you to know that we're not expecting that you're gonna adopt this word for word exactly as it's written. Like, you guys do have the authority to be able to do the bylaws in a way
I
that
think
works for
everybody was in
you.
agreement, they looked pretty good.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not written in stone, and we don't make the decisions anyways, really, in the end. We just make the suggestions, and it's up to you guys to make the decisions. So,
Oh, that sounds good.
Is there anything else that you think that you need from us to be able to have direction and get started? Other than, I mean, we can share the contract info and
Absolutely.
all that data that we do have currently,
Absolutely.
so that you have that information available to be able to use as a point of reference.
The historical data as well, you probably,
Yep.
yeah,
probably want.
it would be helpful.
Jessica's shaking her head. She
Have it all.
seems like a good point person.
So that stuff's for the committee so that we can give it to the rest of the committee and they can see it and understand it and be on the same page. So we're not opposed to looking at options like an AgriCycle or, there's another one out of Portland. They do roadside pickup in Yarmouth.
Is it that garden to?
Garbage to garden. Yeah, one bought out the other. There was two of them, but.
We do have a local resident that's interested in a program, like doing a program like that also.
Well, you have to be licensed, which I'm assuming they must know that.
Yeah.
And the town would be wise to anybody. I see there's a lot of stuff about somebody, roadside pickup and having people pick up your trash. The town should be careful and make sure that we have, they have a waste hauler license.
Yeah.
And because it covers the town, they have insurance and all that stuff. That comes at a pretty good cost, so you're not gonna get everybody hauling everybody else's trash and not disposing of it properly. That's the only thing I'd caution you on with that.
Okay.
And I'll get this to the committee and we'll get to work.
Great.
All right, that sounds great.
All
Thank
right.
you. Yeah.
Thank
for
you.
coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And Jerry, I think this is fantastic, because I think this is the second committee we've sort of created this year, and they come back with the same question. And this purpose is, if we do this, when we create the committee, we'll give
Yes.
them that,
Yeah.
Right.
so.
Yeah.
Yes,
Definitely.
definitely helps.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good
Almost-
night.
Almost maybe
Hopefully
wanna
we'll see you in
pay
June.
more attention. Where's my trash problems?
Before that? All right, good. Okay. Thank you, Curtis. All right. Town meeting format, all right. There's my little, of course, I can't find my cheat sheet, that won't be very good. I sat down with Jessica the other day, just to clear in my mind, just the series of events during town meeting. So we got usually a pledge of allegiance. We'll do the scholarship. Scholarship will be up first, scholarship presentation. Then I would probably move into the presentation that we talked about earlier, just laying out what everybody's gonna see. Bill typically motions alternating between the select board and the budget committee. Assuming he's gonna do the same thing this year, and that would just usually be the chair and the vice chair on each, accepting the motion and moving the warrant article. So that's about it. I just, figured if anybody had any questions, anything else they wanted to insert in there, in the beginning. I think the Historical Society is going to make a little pitch right before the warrant article on the Union Church. I don't remember what article we were gonna put them in at. It was,
There's 27, 28 were the
yeah.
417.
Yeah, and I would have, and as I told them, I would put in a slide into my presentation, so I'll let everybody know ahead of time what the whole overview of it was, and then they're gonna come in and make up, I'll say, a pitch, layout, what they're doing for the community, before, number 27 and 28, I believe it
So,
was.
yeah, so
Yeah,
I would almost think that's something that might be better off at the beginning.
I was just gonna say that.
you thinking
I
up
think-
front?
Because I don't think other people are coming in to do that, but also, it's also in Article 17.
You
And
could
so I
do
think
that.
having them give their pitch, and that way, we can have more directed questions. People can have time to think about it and have more directed questions during the article presentation.
Okay.
And then, the moderator can have someone from the committee answer
Answer
the
the
questions.
questions. Okay.
And I think that's just to me, that's a better look, to have them answering questions rather than doing a presentation.
Or immediate, especially in my opinion, immediately right before the article, because then if there are people that hear, I think it's just way more appropriate to do it at the beginning.
Do it at the beginning, so
Yeah.
do it right after my presentation,
think so.
have them,
Yep.
have them come up, that's fine. We could probably realign this. Too many presentations up, that's what I'm gonna see here. I could do them at the end and hand it right over to them. Yeah, they are, we could just put them after land use, Jerry,
Okay,
in this, and then I could just hand it right over to Tia from there after I'm finished.
yeah. When you get your edits, just come on in.
Yeah, we can do that.
Pretty it right up.
Yeah, that's
Have it
fine.
ready to go,
Yep.
yeah.
I can swing over and do that. That's a great idea. All right. That makes it easy. Any other thoughts? I just figured, only because we hadn't sat through one as a board ourselves.
I think, this is our 234?
I think we're probably pretty good at
I
it,
think.
huh? All right, yeah, 234. Okay, so that was it. I just
I'm
figured
trying not to bring this up, but I do feel like I need to bring it up.
What's that?
Just because I've had a few residents immediately following previous town meetings bring up the fact that we have a prayer. And I'm not saying that I'm for that or that I'm against that, I'm just saying that has been brought up before.
Yeah.
And so number one, are we doing that this year? And I don't know that we call it a prayer, maybe we call it a blessing, and then it doesn't turn into a
Prayer thing.
political statement of.
Yeah, I get it.
It turns it more into a, thank you all for
I
coming
know
and being here as a community
I
kind
know
of
we
thing.
talked about it, I'm not sure that we reached out yet, and
I called him today,
okay,
and I don't even phrase it like a blessing, I just say, can we just do like a meditative moment, like, thank you for being here, and I can reiterate that to him too. I think that's how I phrased it last year.
I believe, yeah,
So,
that,
yeah, I try to keep it pretty, like, keeping the tradition, but keeping it neutral.
Right,
yeah,
okay, thank you.
I think that'll probably work for
And I
most.
also plug that we're gonna have tables again in the hallways
Okay.
for volunteer fire department. They'll be selling, I don't know, maybe t-shirts, they sold coins last year. The Historic Society's gonna be there
Mhm.
with baked goods and coffee. The Girl Scouts are gonna be there with cookies, and then also, I think, other food, so.
So we got the Girl Scouts with cookies and food, we have the fire department
Fire
with,
department,
with
Historic
food.
Society, and then the Historic District Commission.
They're
I
both,
believe is putting together something,
Yeah,
a
they're-
pamphlet or something, yeah.
I know they're both doing tables,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
So the Historic District Commission and the Historical Society are both gonna have tables, and,
Oh.
I know they're gonna have handouts, and they probably have snacks and
Oh,
sweets
yeah,
and
coffee, baked goods,
coffee,
yeah.
baked goods, so.
When you said scholarship, you meant presenting the winner?
Presenting the,
Okay,
yep,
but the women that are coming to talk about the Freeport scholarship, are they coming?
not that I'm aware of.
Oh, I thought that we had said that we should have them come to be able to explain.
We may have talked about that.
And so if we are, I personally think that they should come and explain their program.
I forgot all about them.
And if that is in fact the case, I also think that that should be at the beginning. Like
Yeah,
that,
that would-
everybody who has information to share, shares it at the beginning, so that
Yeah.
residents have time to digest it, and then questions can happen when we get to the warrant article.
Well, it's Stephanie, right?
Yeah,
Stephanie
Rachel.
Payne,
Yeah,
yeah.
see if they wanna come
Yeah,
up
be
and,
there.
and,
They could at least bring the pamphlets they
Yeah.
have.
yeah, at the very
They brought 'em
least,
last year, I had them on display.
right. Yeah, did they spoke last year, I thought.
No,
No,
they
at
didn't
town
get, they
meeting.
didn't get on.
Oh, that's
because
right,
they
it
missed
was
the
late, they
deadline,
missed the
right.
deadline, that's right. Yep, you're absolutely right, okay. Yeah, that would be good to put them on, have them, lay out their 2 cents for the town to hear as to why we're doing that. Okay, good idea. Anything else?
That's all I can think of right now.
Okay. All right. We'll try to keep it brief in the beginning, so we're not too long.
Right.
I plan to try to get through this really quickly, just like high-level overview and explain it, so.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even read it.
No, I'm not.
I think whoever's managing the computer during the presentation, you know, if you put up the facts during each article
Yeah.
that it was related to, the screen, I don't
Right.
think, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I pretty much have it down. I think I'm good. I can get through it pretty quickly, so. Okay. Anything else? So move on. Managers report, Jerry?
Yeah, I'm gonna, talk a little bit about both fire and public works, just kinda, so the paving bid come in, I just want the residents to know that it's the Auburn Pownell Road that's getting paved, all of that right from the line, 2.47 miles, I think he said. Also, you saw in your report, but I also want the public to know, May 18th is bulky waste day, Saturday, May 18th. That's scheduled to do that. And also, Mike Rivera, the mechanic at Public Works, is retiring. He will no longer be with us after this month, and we have hired a new mechanic. His name is Ryan Henry. So I'd like to publicly welcome him. I haven't seen him, I haven't met him yet, but he is on board. Calvin's kinda like getting him in while Mike's still there, just to kinda show him the ropes for a couple weeks, and then Mike will be retiring. So I'd like to thank Mike for his service and
No, that's great. Thank you, Mike.
for that. All right, and then, as far as the fire chief's report, you should have, is it in the consent agenda, the thing they have to sign, the mitigation plan, is in the consent agenda, so we just need you to have you sign that.
I think they just have a copy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
do you?
have one of their copies.
So just sign one of those copies, I just wanna make sure you have that. This Friday, I will be attending a town city managers conference up in Bangor. It's an all-day event, just kinda wanna let you know about that. The audit is happening this week, so she was in yesterday, and she worked away today. She'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully wrap that up within a few days. That's always a busy time, but hopefully, with all of Mark's help and our help, we'll have it much sooner than we have in the past, at least since I've been here. They came in both in August, so hopefully we'll have it before the end of spring, see what happens. Also, I told you a couple weeks ago that we resubmitted the reevaluation bids because folks, out of the 7 or 8 that we sent out, only 2 responded, but they responded with completion dates of 2027. But the bid actually said we wanted it done in 2026, thinking that, geez, if they couldn't do it, they didn't win the bid. So sending it back out with it saying 2027 is okay, we thought maybe we'd get them to bid. Well, no one bid. So we're still down to 2. So Donna is reaching out to them. I'm hoping to have both bidders come in on the meeting of the 23rd.
Okay.
So we'll get you both bids for you to review, so they'll be here for you to ask questions or whatever, so that the date is the 23rd, but we'll have to confirm that, because I haven't heard whether they can make that date or
Okay.
not, but that's kind of the plan.
So one of the first meetings.
And
we
I'll,
have.
and I'll keep you posted, because one of them's coming from Massachusetts, so.
Yeah.
If they can make it on the 23rd, great. The other one is, the other bidder is from Maine, so.
Okay.
I'll keep you posted on that. That's about it right there. Oh, I did today, we did fuel bids today, so we got some pretty good pricing, some less expensive pricing than we had last year, so it worked out good. So that's, we're all set for the next year. Well, it doesn't really take effect until July 1st, the contract, so we're still working on last year's for this year. But that's always a good process when you do cooperative bidding.
Came in lower than you expected?
Diesel went up a little bit, but we were paying like $1.79 for propane, but we got it for $1.44 this year.
Oh, that's
So
good.
that's good.
That's a good sign.
Gas is $2.75, which isn't bad, and it's all locked in. I don't like to do the rack price plus, because
It
for
floats,
budget
yeah.
stability, you don't know how to budget for it, right? So if you lock it in, and
That's a spike waiting to happen
could.
right there.
so spent a lot of the time today doing that, so that's good. Electricity rate bids will come out in another couple months. We'll just keep an eye on that, see how that's going. But what I'm hearing, CMP has dropped their rates a little bit. But we were paying 17 cents, but when we got into the cooperative bid last year, we were down to like 10.5. So we'll see what happens this year you just never know. But other than that, things are going good. I mean, like I said, Jess moved into her office. That's going good, right, Jess? I mean, she's doing good with the AP. So things are good.
I noticed that I don't want to use the word less chaotic, but there's less movement around the office. With
Right.
everybody now situated the way they are, so that must make for a much nicer working atmosphere, not as disruptive.
Yeah.
You know, with folks going behind the counter
Right.
all the time, so
And,
that works, that
yeah.
looks really good.
Code officer, he's been on vacation. He went to Ireland, so he's been gone. Now he's out sick. He's got the Irish cold. Same thing I got when I came back, so. But other than that, things are going really pretty good.
Okay, great. Heather?
You know me, I always have questions.
Yeah,
Bulky waste is pending budget approval,
right.
so we should just make that really clear, that when we're putting it out,
as a date, it's tentative.
Yeah.
Or pending, or however we wanna word it, because if we say it's May 18th and then it doesn't pass the budget, people are gonna complain if they're expecting that it's gonna happen.
If it doesn't pass budget, we'll have to make sure on that day that then there will be no.
There will be no
waste.
Bulky Waste.
Right.
Yeah.
I just think if we put the information out there, we definitely have to have the caveat that it's pending budget approval at town meeting in April.
Okay,
Um,
I'm gonna
and,
pass out the stickers again at the election and town meeting, but if it doesn't pass, you just throw.
okay, that was my only question for,
but now, that's
that's
it.
it, yeah, that's it.
And then our thanks to both the departments during the storm.
Yeah.
This past, that was tough on everybody, surrounding communities included, so that was pretty brutal.
Yeah, it was pretty
Guys
surprised.
did a great job on the roads. The
Yeah.
roads were awesome. And I know the chief had a few calls that he went out on, so.
No, you know, the staff is great.
Yeah.
I mean, they work hard, they do their job, no questions asked. I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah.
I really feel
Yeah, they-
pretty lucky.
they have
to
fun
have
with it.
that.
Yeah.
The staff that we do, they make my job easier, there's
Yeah.
no doubt about it.
No,
And I probably make their job harder, so it's not probably an even wash, so, with some of my questions and stuff, so. But no, things are going good,
Good.
no worries. Looking forward to town meeting.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, a lot of work goes into leading up to that meeting, so that's good.
Okay.
That's all I got for you.
Thank you, Gary. Anything else?
Not under
Any
this
other
heading,
questions? All right. Josh?
Sorry, was the bulky waste thing, and there was one other thing I wanted to ask, but I just forgot what it was. It was really important to me too.
so I gotta write stuff down.
You'll remember it in a minute.
I tried to get out of your way.
You can bring it back. Okay, any board member reports?
So this
No?
isn't a report, this is, when the annual report gets posted and people start looking at the information that's in there and they see taxes that are not paid. And then they reach out asking questions about that kind of thing, and so I would just like to understand if we have policy, regarding, if building permits are issued, if back taxes are owed. And if we don't, that's something that the board should consider and take up in the future.
Okay.
If building permits are issued when back taxes are, okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
There are multiple year delinquent taxes for certain individuals that are also
I'm
accessing.
not sure
Building
you can do
permits.
that, but that would be an interesting question.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can tie things that way, but,
Especially if it's for a different lot,
Yeah.
that's where the taxes
That's right.
haven't been paid. See what I mean? We'd have to look into that.
yeah.
But that's a really long, drawn-out process that we're now just getting into. So if you wanna come in, I can explain it, but we do have a policy, and most of that policy is following the state law,
Right.
and it's a process, for sure. That would be better served in a discussion,
Yeah.
cause there's time, and it's, I mean, you're talking about people's property, so they have rights,
Of
and
course,
so it's,
yeah. I
There's
just
a
think
lot.
it's an interesting situation to owe the town money, especially multiple years, and then go get the ability to be able to increase the value of the property even though you haven't paid what you already owe.
yeah.
So just something to put on people's radar,
Yeah.
that other residents are asking about, which is why I sent the email asking.
Right.
That's all I got.
Okay. Only thing I have is, like I said, I attended the Historical District Commission meeting the other day. It went very well. Had a lot of good input. And I did attend the Conservation Commission meeting as well. I'm trying to hit all the meetings, just I was doing it somewhat to just be ready for town meeting, see if there's anything on their agendas that would come up other than the things we know already. And there didn't seem to be anything new in either meeting, so it was just showing my face and something I'm gonna try to keep doing as the next year goes on, so. And I did not get to that meeting today that we got invited to, which was unfortunate.
The housing,
The housing meeting they had in Portland, I was gonna go to that, but I got hung up with something and wasn't able to cut free. So that was, everybody, I'll say commiserating about what the affordable housing is doing, and what people are doing for housing. I believe Janet Mills was gonna be at the event as well, so it would've been interesting to hear her viewpoint up in person, so I'm sure that's available online somewhere to go look at later, but that was something that I think we were all invited to, but it was, I think, a first come limited party, so anyways. Josh, you?
So I would just, after Chief McGee came in and with his presentation, I think it was the next day or so, I ran into the chief deputy. And at our next meeting, which will be the first with the new 5-member board, I would like to try to get something set up, because I think, based on my conversations with the chief deputy, the cost was a lot more than I was expecting. And I think if it's something that is going to be considered, it's going to take a significant conversation. And I would like to start that sooner rather than later, because I will say, not only Chief McGee, but another, at least one other, well, there's 2 police chiefs who live in Durham and neighboring communities, and a number of officers. And I spoke with another officer who I just happened to run into, who lives in Durham, and hoping to get him to give me an opinion one way or the other, what his thoughts were. And it was, not a terrible idea. And so I think, based on that, I think it's a conversation that needs to be had, and it's going to be a lengthy one based on the cost and everything involved, and I would like to start that sooner rather than later.
Yep, there's certainly a lot of pieces to that puzzle that need to be put together to be presented before anything moves, but starting it early is the right thing to do. So, yeah, we can put that on our agenda to,
I'd like to schedule a workshop and bring in,
yeah.
and then we can have a meeting where we can have public comment after people have seen that. But, if we're gonna start a create a committee or something like that, I'd like to do it sooner rather than later, because like I said, I had a number in my head, and
That's interesting, because based on the information that Ryan, or Chief McGee gave us, I was thinking it felt reasonable, so I'd be interested to have that conversation and see where the deputy chief landed with that, because.
This is, this was what, I would let him explain it, what he did, what he was looking at was something similar to what Poland does. So it's 24/7 coverage and.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely a conversation that needs to take place sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and I think there's a number of options that can be laid out as well, different scenarios to be looked at by the professionals and against the data, right? I think it's really the key to it. Okay, thank you. We can get that on the agenda for April. All right, consent agenda. Got a number of items on the consent agenda, approving the minutes, approve and sign the AP warrant. And then we have Region 10 has their signature page in here. Yep, way to go. That's in a separate folder, sorry.
Not in our packet though, but it was part of the
No.
email. I have already read it, but it's not in my stack of papers, right?
No, it's just one copy.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got it right here. This is to looks like rebuild the bridge that goes between I believe the buildings for the facility. It's I'll say a matching grant, it's not quite 50/50. It is 45%, 44.99% grant against 55% that the region would have to repay at a 0% interest over the term of 10 years. So they're looking for, all the signatures are here from the other towns, and they're requiring our signatures on this to approve.
So my only question is, it has, what I think my knowledge of this has been, in terms of Region 10, is that that's part of the school budget. Region 10 funding is a supplement to the school budget, correct?
Yeah.
And so when we're looking at our number in terms of our budget, this would impact the school budget line? Or is this something completely separate, and how does that then impact our tax rate? Do we know? If we don't, it's okay. I'm just thinking that's a question that people are gonna ask, like, is that coming to us and the school board has already reviewed that, and that's part of their number that they're giving us?
So this is gonna be, its own ballot, so we're gonna get the RSU 5 budget referendum ballot on one side, the other side's gonna be this question.
So this just puts the
Right.
question on the ballot.
That's what I understood it to be,
Yeah.
so
I
this
see.
is just putting it in front of the voters.
Okay.
That's just like the warrant, when you sign like our warrant,
Yes.
that's the warrant.
I see. Okay, thank you for
So
explaining.
there's just our signature for that
Right.
warrant article, sorry.
Yeah, this is out of place, it should have been done earlier, but, what's not in the consent agenda is the, adoption of the Anscombe County Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan. I think that we had talked about, we have the signature page in our packet. I think that should have been included in the consent agenda. So I would just, again, it's out of place, it should have been done earlier, but I would just move to amend the agenda to include that, resolution of adoption in the consent agenda.
Second?
Any further discussion?
It just should have been like.
Like under here, under 8, just add that approval of the mitigation plan in the consent agenda.
Oh,
If we just add that, Josh is moving to add that to the
Oh,
consent agenda,
I see what you're saying, okay.
and I've seconded it.
Or we could go back to new business, but either way.
No, that probably sounds like a plan. All in favor? Move that in, all right, motion carries. Okay. Do I have a, motion for the consent agenda?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
Second, Heather. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, motion carries unanimously.
And you want us to each sign these individually, or sign just one?
One, and, go ahead, start it
Want
off.
me to start it off?
Yep.
It's not on meetings, but can you also add, when you announce all of that, can you talk about the municipal elections the day before?
Mhm.
Add that, the April 5th, please.
It's at April
Friday,
Oh,
April
I
5th.
didn't put that down.
April 5th. That's at Eureka Center. Okay. Okay. All right, so any upcoming meetings? Let's see, we have town meeting on 4/6 at 9 AM. 9 AM sharp. We have the municipal elections, April 5th. That's at the Eureka Center, starting at 8 AM, regular, 8 to 8. We have select board meetings following that, 4/9 and 4/23. And planning board meeting on 4/3, and all those are at the fire station. Town meeting is at the school, by the way, just in case folks need to know the location. That's all I have there, and we had a executive session this evening, or we're gonna pass on that? We can do that, and we'll see where we get with it.
I think that makes sense.
I think that makes sense, yep.
Do what?
Executive session?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Have it.
have it, yeah,
Yep,
we'll have
I'm
it,
fine
yeah,
with
we'll have a discussion. So I make a motion, we go into executive session to, discuss, an abatement.
I'll second.
Josh seconds, all in favor? Okay, we're now in executive session. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening, and we'll see you on the 6th. Get the sign out of the way. I probably have this all mixed up because I flipped it over. All right. Oh, there it is.
I'll come up as soon as.
Yeah, that's fine. It was just 3 of these, yeah, we got the meeting.